A webinar participant asks, how do you convince your stakeholders that assumption testing won't slow down delivery if you work in a feature factory? Okay, so this is what I love about assumption testing. So first of all, we're not testing whole ideas. We're not going to stop delivery and spend weeks testing an idea. In a feature factory, stakeholders are never going to agree to that. With an assumption test, one of the things that we teach is you want to define your assumption tests such that you can collect data in 1 or 2 days. You can collect data in a couple of hours, depending on the type of test. And so I actually wouldn't try to convince my stakeholders at all. I would just simply do it, right? So if I'm working in a feature factory, I'm given a solution, I'm being told what to build. I can look at that solution. It probably carries some risk. I would look at what's the easiest, fastest way for me to test the riskiest piece, and I might spend a couple of hours on it. And if you think a couple of hours is going to slow down your delivery, you're not being honest with yourself about how productive you are at work. None of us spend all 8 hours at work doing full-time 8 hours of work, right? We're on social media, we're reading LinkedIn, we're reading Slack. Like there's lots of things that we're doing. You can afford to take an hour or two to evaluate the risk in your idea. Now, if you don't know how to test the risk in an idea in an hour or two, I'm going to share some resources. My comprehensive guide on assumption testing is linked in the post above. We also have a deep dive on assumption testing where you can get some hands-on practice. You can learn about that on our Academy site at learn.producttalk.org. But I'd also love to hear from you, some of you. If you're working in a feature factory, have you found quick and easy ways to test some of your assumptions? And that could be anything from looking up data in your behavioral analytics tool. It could be looking at support tickets. It could be walking across the building if you're in an office and talking to a colleague, right? What's the smallest thing you can do to test an assumption that your idea depends upon? So if you're already doing this, I would love to hear examples of what you're currently doing. And if you're not doing this yet, I want to challenge you to share what's the smallest thing you could do this week or next week just to help you get started. So please share in the comments.